Hello everybody, my name is Bigpot and today we're going to be doing another video on Manjaro Architect. Actually, we're going to be doing a three-part revisit series. We're going to be looking at Manjaro Architect again, but you don't need to know anything that previous video has had to offer since we're going to be going through everything again. Now, let's go. Welcome to Manjaro, as it said on the screen. This is what we're going to be looking at. This is the Grub menu. So let's check out what they have to offer in the Grub menu. First, you can select your time zone, Europe, Ljubljana. Key table is Slovenian, so SE. Language can stay in English US. Then driver, you can select between non-free and free drivers. If you select non-free drivers, you might be able to boot with NVIDIA cards and have the better driver support than free drivers, free Nuevo drivers. Then we also have boot, where we'll press enter to boot into it. Then here you can select additional uh, parameters. You can define them yourself. And then you also have two options for help and detect EFI bootloaders. But let's go boot and cut and action. As we see, it is booting, and as we see, it's Tiana core. So this is a virtual machine, KVM based virtual machine to be specific. So while we're booting into the system, and we're already booted. It's so quick. Here we have to log in. So Manjaro and Manjaro again, the password, and here we are, Manjaro at Manjaro Architect. To start, you can just press setup, and it will start updating the installer. At first, it fails from first host, but the second host it pulls up. It's not always true, but apparently currently it is. And this, my friends, is Manjaro Architect installer. Now we want to select language. So between 14 available, there is English. So let's select it. While it's doing the checks and doing everything, it's also updated its repositories, and if any packages will need to be updated, we'll update them. This says, welcome to Manjaro Architect. This is the version 0.9.30 apparently. This install will download the latest packages from Manjaro repositories. You have different menu options by pressing the option number, or by using up and down arrow you can move around them. When you confirm with the enter, it's standard and curses, I believe. Basically, it's a standard TUI. So then you're gonna go, you can navigate with page up, page down, or you can actually search by pressing the first letter. Then you also have default packages in the checklist will be pre-checked, and you can select enter, select spacebar to deselect them or select them. So now we're here in the main menu. So let's check out the 6 options. Prepare installation, install desktop system, install CLI system, install custom system. You can do system rescue, and you can complete the installation. But let's go prepare installation. This is what is required for everything, really. At first, we're gonna select a set virtual console. This is gonna be actually a key map for the virtual console, which you're gonna change. So you can just go. If you type S, you can quickly get to S and select Slovene. For my example, you gonna use something else. For some of you, English will be fine. Now have two list devices. Here you can see all the devices. For me, it's VDA. For it probably be either NVMe or SDA or SDB or whatever. Have optional rate. And before that, partition the disk. Which one? Select one. I have only one, but you're gonna have more, especially if you're gonna be putting from USB stick. Now we have here. We have to select the way of doing it. So there are more ways. First of all, you can securely wipe the drive. Then you can do automatic partitioning, but we're gonna do it a bit better. So we're gonna say either you have options of CF disk, CG disk, F disk, G disk, or parted. What I personally prefer are CF disks and CG disk because they allow for certain level of UI-ness. So let's write CG disk, which is appropriate for UEFI, which we have. Now I'm gonna have to create new partition, which will be size of 400 max. Okay with this, and enter. Second, I'm gonna select everything else will go in. No, 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 no. This isn't okay, so this was my mistake. Let's remove it. Supposed to stay this way, but here is the one. We go default. You want to ask why? Because it's gonna be our file system. And we just go right. Yes. It's gonna write. It's now written to disk, and we can quit. So what we did, if we check it out again, we created our partition. So first of all, this is 412 meg UEFI EFI partition. This is our root partition. So let's just quickly jump out, and you can go. You can optionally do RAID, LVM, LUKS encryption, or ZFS. While we won't go into any of these options, they are there for yeah. But we're gonna do mount partitions. So partitions can be mounted to the formatting, but we're gonna do it well. So now we have select our root partition, which should be /sda2, which is seen by the bigger size. We're gonna format it in the ext4, and because we need to format it, we're going to actually mount it. We can do yes, and there's like if you want to do any specific stuff, you can do here. But we're not going to do that. So this option is okay, selected by default, so it's okay. That's the mounting. So now we have swap partition. We can select either swap file or another called other partition, but we're gonna select no swap file. And now there's additional partitions to select, like slash. Well, it would be good for me to cancel and go again. Root partition. Huh. This is, in my opinion, a bug. But okay, let's go like this. Once again. Now we also saw a bug. And even though you go no, it still goes successfully mounted. Now swap partition. No additional. And now we get to the point we were looking for. The UEFI partition. Just OK it. /bootf is fine. But /boot is required if you want the system deboot. It will mount it successfully, and here we are. Now the next one is configure installer mirror list. We can edit our pacman configuration. So this is this, but we're basically okay with it. You can just save it, and you can do yes to, so you can rebuild the package databases. Now we do pacman mirror configurations. One is can be important since you might want to change your branch to stable, but leave it like it is. But here is the important one, rank mirrors by speed, which will also allow you to select Manjaro branches. So we have testing, the one I normally use, or unstable, or you can do stable. We're going to do stable because this one is the one that's actually good for your normal stuff. If you're gonna do a longer usage, and you're not willing to be basically on top of your system, I would say you should do the install of stable, which is logically most stable. So this is gonna take some time because it's querying all its available mirrors, and we'll be back when it's done. Now this is the Manjaro mirrors as set by response time. So let's see. We have Germany, few Germany mirrors. Let's select a few. Maybe see if there is. Actually, there is no because it will be much faster. These are probably the mirrors we should select. Maybe some others, like for example Austria one. That would be about it. We actually don't need any more. Like one, two, three, four, seven, seven mirrors. That's enough, really. Let's go. Okay, and back. Now we got to do the refreshing of Pac-Man keys, which gonna take a while. And after that, you can do something else. But you can do Pac-Man cache. But let's before that go refresh Pac-Man keys. And since this is gonna take some time, be back. So we're back. And we're back here as well to prepare installation. After refresh Pacman keys finish working, it automatically throws us back here. So now we can choose and choose Pacman cache, but since we do not have another installation somewhere, we cannot do it. But if you have another Manjaro installation, you can do it, and which will lower the amount of download you need. Next one is FS check hook. Let's check out what this is. Nobody knows. Actually, in most cases, it isn't exactly required, I believe. This is one of the newest features which I haven't actually taken a look at, so let's go back. But I believe it's for something, I don't know. Now, here we are back in main menu where the actual installation begins. And as I said, this is the actual installation. So first, we're gonna look into the installing desktop system. Like this. So steps should be followed in order. So let's go. Install Manjaro Desktop. First, we're gonna install base, right? Yeah, so we can go yay plus base devel. So this will install the yay AUR helper and base devel, which will allow for AUR to be actually used. So then there are different kernels. So Linux 5.7 is the latest one, and I'm going to select 5.4 as well as an Bluetooth LTS. Okay, now I have to select the desktop environment. There are multiple ones we can check out. We can install GNOME, KDE, XFCE, Awesome, BSPWM, Budgie, Cinnamon, Deepin, i3, LXD, LXQT, Mate, OpenBox. But we're going to select GNOME. And if you want to install any additional packages, this is the window or option create. So let's just, I don't know, what shall we install? HTOP. We select it with tab, as you see, and you can also install bashtop if you want. But no, HTOP will be enough. We press enter to quit and install. So now there are two versions that are that are supported or offered, full and minimal. If it's full, it's fully decked out by Manjaro, and it's minimal. It just has base packages, what it needs to run, but I'm gonna go for full. And this is what it will install. It's a list of packages plus our htop. And let the installation begin. And again, this is gonna take a hell of a lot of time. Wow, it's gonna take 1600 megabytes to download. It's gonna take a while. Be back when it's done. And we're back. Now the installation of the base and desktop packages has been done. We can go install drivers. First of all, display drivers. We can go with auto install free drivers, auto install proprietary drivers, or select or install all free. So we're gonna go just auto install free drivers, which should install video virtual machine for video virtual machine specifically, which installs 10 packages. And after that, you press enter. Now we're done with Manjaro desktop. Going to number 2, installing Manjaro UEFI bootloader, which will be Grub. Yes. You can select a refined D or system boot D, but most of us select Grub, so it just defaults to that. So it's gonna go through the whole set of installations for Grub, and it's including installed OS prober, which is used for if you have another system on it. It detects the systems while generating the BIOS. It's also in UEFI. When generating grub.config. This sometimes take a while, but normally don't that much. Maybe a couple of minutes, and it is already doing the stuff. And now we're here. Some UEFI firmware may not detect the bootloader, and I set as default. Yeah, some motherboards may not detect it, but yeah, but so this one it's recommending us to set a default bootloader for it as the default bootloader, or if we want to not select if we have another bootloader installed. But we can do yes, since this is only OS installed. Now we're going to go through configuration of base system. We can generate our FS tab using UIDs, names, labels, or UEFI part UIDs. My personal selection is always UUIDs, Universally Unique Identifier. It generated the FS tab, some say F tab. I, I name it FS tab, which is what's supposed to be file system table. Now we can set our host tab, which is Manjaro, which is truth be told enough. Now we select our system locale, so let's go with, we can go Slovenian, English, but SLSC is the one I normally choose. Now we're gonna select our desktop keyboard layout, again Slovenian for me, SE. Now this is the more important part, time zone and clock, which is here Europe. We can go again for the city closest to us, and for me that's Europe, Ljubljana. And this is the important part. What system, what you want to do, basically, but system time. So first option is UTC, second option is local time. So UTC is the recommended one, but you should choose local time when dual booting with Windows, because if you select UTC, Windows won't exactly know about this, and it will basically do some weird crap like your system will be your Windows system will be always 2 hours or more behind Windows, behind actual time. So I have to synchronize it every time, which is just too much work really. So I select, we can select UTC in this, but I just select local time because many of us will be installing besides Windows like I normally do. Now I have to select root password, which easy password, and now we can add new users. For example, big pot. We can select our shell. For normally we can select bash zsh fish, our secure password, which will create and set a group. And now we can actually create another one, test. And for this one, you can use the fish. It will install fish as it isn't previously installed, and it will create it now. Fish is a great shell. I actually quite recommend it. Now at 4, we have some system tweaks. Like we can enable automatic login, which I don't recommend and don't ever do. It's personally, I don't like it. We can enable hibernation, which won't help me in virtual machine, but if you have a laptop, might help you, or if you wanna hibernate your system, of course. But for this, I believe you need swap. And then some performance changes like swap configuration, IO schedules are preloading. They also have security and system D tweaks like amend journal delogging, disable core dump logging, restrict access to kernel logs. And then we have back. And this is about it. This is what we have done. Now we can go to our root into our installation. Here we are. Dear ls, who am I? Root. Let's go su bigpod, and we just change this to bigpod. Let's exit and let's su to test, and it open up our fish, the friendly interactive shell. Hello, who am I? Exit, exit. Now we're gonna ask how we're gonna return to the installer. We have to exit from this installer and go to FG to open for and return to the installer. And this is it. We have finished our installation of desktop system. Now we just have to reboot and be welcomed in it. So we go back. There are two options, install CLI and custom, which we will look into another video. We'll also look into system rescue later on. Done. Close the installer. At this point, we can also save the installation log. We come into mount mnt ma log, which you should always do. And now we just need to reboot. And at this point, we will be rebooted into our system. So right now it's trying to boot. And there it is, Tiana core. And it's booting into /dev/vda2, which it also means it skipped Grub, which should be the case because there is only one system installed. So now it's slowly booting up, and first boot is always somewhat slower, but it is quite fast, still quite fast. So we are welcomed by the white dash appearing on the screen, like always with Linux. And now we have our mouse, but that appears to be my mouse still. Yeah, which means that this thing is actually working. It actually knows that we're in a different system. Nice. So now we're gonna log in. Let's type in our password and be welcome to GNOME. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you like this video. Hit a like, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to use the notification sign, notification bell, which will let you know when I go live or when I upload a new video. At this point, didn't want to connect, which is weird, but okay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Oh, and don't forget, use software best best suited for your task. Goodbye.